One of the scariest things that I've come to understand is almost everyone I know has been abused in some way or another. Literally everyone. Even my mum and all of my mum's friends have all been abused heavily. It's like everyone is angry. For me, I think children understand the most out of anyone. When I was a kid, I dreamed of being a teenager, and then I got to being a teenager, and now I'm 18, which was the age that I never thought I would go past. And now I'm here and I'm just like, fuck,
Yeah. I never planned to make it past 18. And it's 7 years past that. And that's good.
When I look at my dad, I can definitely see similarities in me and him.
That's a role model for men. Your father's a role model for men, your mother is a role model for women. And you have this predisposed thought of men and women based off your parents.
I really don't want that to be true. Because I hate my dad.
You have the choice. You have the choice to see your behavior and not act like that. Stop yourself.
She arrived in New Zealand after she finished her primary school in China, and her parents said to her that we're going to send you for a holiday, and somewhere really beautiful with a lot of cows, sheep, grass. So she jumped on the plane and she went to New Zealand. In fact, she was very excited about this school holidays and going places where she has no idea. She thought that New Zealand was part of Holland. She doesn't even know where New Zealand is. In fact, one day there was a call from her parents, and her mother was telling her that you're not coming back. You're going to stay here. The school in China has started, and you're not going to make it.
All of the closest girls I've had in my life have gone through really, really toxic stages of social media and following girls that they think are so much more beautiful than them and that they would never be able to compare to. And they get addicted to that feeling of not being able to compare to someone as beautiful as that.
It's strange to be summarized, to be, to read some information off the internet, and that's you. Do you have your own thoughts? Do you have your own desires? Or is it based off the time you were born? Those things.
I definitely believe we are our own people and we choose who we want to be entirely. But we have to come to the realization that we are in control, but only of ourselves. And that's where true power comes from. Understanding oneself, and that yourself will not always be understood by others, but being okay with that. Which is really, really hard to do. Like pure self-acceptance, not needing anyone to validate what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you like, what you dislike, your views on politics, your views on parenting, the way you see animals.
She had a friend from New Zealand. Her name is Teresa, and her mother was from Papua New Guinea, and her father was a Kiwi. So she was very lovely, quiet, extremely good looking. So they are different from most kids in the school. But in fact, that wasn't really a big deal. It was just they were different. So they get along really well. Obviously, they sleep in the same bed and they eat together. They go to classes together. Most parents, Asian parents, would say in general, that thinks the kids should just be doing things quite academically and, want to be an accountant, lawyer, doctor. The security, those subjects or studies that could brought to the kids. But she hang out with Jin Song every day. All they talk about was nothing but fashion, the art, and things that definitely not about those business stuff.
That's where it becomes a grey subject. Like Alice was talking to me about LGBT politics because it's what they're learning in her class at the moment. And she asked me what my opinion on politics within the LGBT is and what people should be focusing on. And it's a really hard question to answer personally because I've almost been given everything I want and need around that. So I wouldn't. It's like you have to put yourself into a box to remove yourself from the box. Like, you have to have black pride to neutralize the fact that black people are just the same as white people, but they need that to remind everyone else and themselves that they are just as important as everyone else. But one day, I don't know, one day it might not be a thing.
It's like,
But in saying that, I think it's a really good thing to have those boxes for the minority, so they are.
it's to compensate for the negative that they lived under. But instead of having an excess, like an extra positive and treating people more delicately or anything, wouldn't it be better to be treated neutrally?
But that's what they're striving for.
Yeah.
To be seen as the same as everyone else, not black people, just people. And the same and it's the same with gay people and trans people. They just want to be seen as people, not that gay boy or that trans boy.
She got into university, and I guess she had a fallout with her mother, and her mother had cut her off from paying any of her school fees and living cost. So saying that if you were insist to going down to an average university and doing what you want to do in life, and I'm not going to pay anything. So Jing Song turned herself, I think from that point, she starts to build her confidence and saying that, screw that, fuck it, I'm just gonna make the way how I want to live and totally take care of myself. And there was a song at the time, a British singer, David Bowie, has, it was a very old song written in the 1780s. It's called The China Girl. So the boys and people from school would come and ask her, Jing Song, have you heard the song You Are My China Girl? So that was, to her, was quite sweet and something that's from wisdom. The only thing they know about the China Girl was in fact from David Bowie's soundtrack, The China Girl. So they think she's wicked, she's really cool.
Like, me and Alice were reading about the Columbine massacre, this morning, and we got onto the topic of having someone's life force literally in the palm of your hand, and the power that you would have and feel holding a gun to all these people.
It's too much.
Some people
Weak, feeling like you have no power.
exactly. They need to obtain power that they don't have, that has been stripped from them. Well, that comes back to the fact of like Black Lives Matter. They've been stripped from their power for so many years. And that's fucked. Like the fact that one society can strip another society's power entirely. Like take everything from another society, another country. They take everything from them. For what? For more power? For more resources? For more money?
I've never understood it. If you came from your land, your civilization, you sailed to another civilization, why would you want to enslave that race? Why wouldn't you want to learn from them?
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown. They're kind of bred to be scared of everything, so they need to control everything.
But with the more control you add to something, the more freedom the people being controlled need.
Exactly.
So the scarier it becomes.
So it's like a paradox.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. We're like wolves in sheepskin, or sheeps in wolfskin. Nah, we're wolves in sheepskin. Yeah.
Jing Song knows that her mother was so realistic and so nasty, so intense, unacceptable. Like socially, she's saying exactly what she wants to say out loud, and she doesn't care. She doesn't give a fuck about who is around. She embarrassed her in the public. When she was younger, she would just pushing her and slap her on the back if she did something which she doesn't like. And she knew that intensity is not socially acceptable. But deeply, I think she knew her mother is right, and somehow that this degree of pushing, this degree of demand, it will get a result. It will get her somewhere. But she's withdrawn. She's actually wanted to withdraw that and push. It's like this love and hate. But she pushes her, but she needed her. The times when things aren't working. I guess she was just sad, and then her mother never really pays attention or really just for a second that have a sympathy of what her really feeling is like, what her real feel something. She just give her no chance. She kills all her naive dreams.
What do you think holds you back the most? What thought holds you back the most that's been ingrained in you since birth?
It's kind of a paradox, but being seen as weird. Like, I want to be seen as weird, but I also don't.
Want to be seen as unique, but not weird.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's why I guess it is important to have everyone else in the world to compare yourself to. Because if you can find the good things to compare yourself to, like knowledge, like if you're able to answer somebody's questions that they have, that means that you're able to help them.
I think comparing is a weird word. It's got bad connotations with it.
Well, yeah, if you're comparing yourself in a positive and negative way, it's better to compare yourself in a neutral way where it's like, I'm not sure how much of this topic that I'd like to know a lot about that I actually understand, but until you can compare it to somebody that knows less about it than you don't actually know how much you know about something.
You have to be constantly reminding yourself to forget what you know.
Yeah.
I remember Jasper said that to me once, and I was like, at first I was like, what the fuck? What does that even mean? To forget what you know. But that means being completely open. Being open to be wrong.
Well, yeah, if you think you know something, or if you tell yourself that you know something, then that becomes a pillar, that becomes a fact, an immovable object, if that's the truth and you know it.
Mike said something really interesting to me on the truth is a fact, but the facts aren't always true.
Yeah.
I'll always carry that with me.
I think it just created a unique journey. What happened? It's not now so that right or wrong, but when it comes into an argument, they're always blaming. Well, do you remember that you did this, and do you remember you did that? And that's one of the frustration of when the mother and daughter are having arguments that blow up, and everyone's got the story. And who actually, you really wish, don't you? You really wish someone had a camera and have this recording the whole time. You wish that was recorded. You wish someone, a perfect judge, is on your side. And it's all our fantasy about how can I prove my argument is right. But there isn't. So it's just very difficult to being present with her mother, and she's hoping that will get easier as her mother's getting older, or she's getting older, and somehow we're both hoping things will soften up and will not be just blow up. Is not really blaming her mother though. Over the years or when she was younger, there's a lot of circumstances. They come from, Jingsong has different background in education. She was brought up here. Her mother was, brought up in China in one of the most, arguably, the darkest and difficult time of China, going through war and post-war years. That's the most intense generation of the Chinese people, They're very different, but fundamentally, she understands it is human nature. It doesn't matter.
Why are you still here?
Why am I still here?
What do I have to do? Yeah, and get you out of bed. So fucking on coffee.
A cigarette and a coffee, that's what gets me out of bed every day. I like people. I like psychology. I like figuring out how people's brains work and what gets them out of bed and what makes them happy and what makes them sad.
Do you think you like that so you learn about yourself as well?
Yeah. I like to meet people and have discussions where I feel like I'm learning something from them all the time. Because everyone is so different and everyone has different ways of processing things. And I guess it is this kind of quest to understand the human brain properly. Which part of me thinks is stupid because you can't ever understand the brain.
The more you feel like you're helping everyone else as well, makes you feel like you are a part of the machine, you're a part of society, you are accepted. If someone accepts your help, it makes you feel accepted. But if someone doesn't want help from you when you offer it, does that make your help irrelevant, therefore making you irrelevant?
Well, I searched up the other day why people need people because I was really angry. And there was this really, really good answer that I read, and it was like, people add spice to your life. Like, if you choose to go throughout life completely alone, sure, that's living either way, and it may be fun if you get to do everything you want your way. But having people in your life and talking to different people and experiencing things with different people adds another perspective to it. Another brain that perceives things completely different, and therefore making it better or worse.
Makes it unpredictable.
Exactly.
She's about to have a baby soon. She's in fact has to deal with a lot of things about this baby too. Yeah, no, she shouldn't wish there was no arguments and conflict as we talk about. Because without this conflict and arguments, the truth or what she has the strength to develop to push her what she wanted will not come out. She hadn't made it this far, to challenge her parents about, or the family about this pregnancy. She wants to have a baby, and no one else really supporting her. So she went a very sad time of no one really supporting her of having a baby, second baby, till now she's about to have a baby, and so far as the mother and the baby is healthy, But every time when she thought about leave the way he is, what if he did nothing? What if he was just useless? What if developed all this bad habits, and bad things? Would Jing Song be blaming herself that she wasn't being like her mother? That her son, if one day turns bad, she wouldn't want to blame on herself. That perhaps for all her life she's a failure. In fact, her mother maybe is right, but then maybe that was too late. If I was Jing Song, and if what I was saying to her mother, I'd say that you should really trust me, that I can do this really well. And I can make you feel really proud. Yeah, really proud having a daughter like